Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Truth Quest. Today, friends, we've got a show for you. We've got Corey Goode is going to be on the show and answering some questions that we have for him. And he should be joining us shortly. We've got a lot of things to ask him. And I hope you're all doing well. And I want to thank everybody who's subscribed to the show. I want to let you know that this is our first interview on Truth Quest, here on Truth Quest, and I couldn't be happier. And what a great first guest to have, Corey Goode. He's the Secret Space Program whistleblower. Of course, you may all know. He and David Wilcock had a dynamite show, and now he's off doing his own thing. And of course, he starred in several movies and also helped produce them. And he's just a great guy. And the Secret Space Program, for all of you who doubt that there is a secret space program, just remember, it was 66 years from the flight at Kitty Hawk to landing on the moon in 1969. And that's just what the public knows about. 66 years. It's been 51 years since then. So going by the assumption that they say that technology doubles every year, it really doesn't make any sense, excuse me, that we wouldn't be further along. Lighting issue here. All right. That should be a bit better. How's that? A little bit better, I'd say. All righty then. And we're all set to go here, just waiting for Corey to come. It's actually starting in 7 minutes. We got some time to fill here. Thank you for stopping by. Please like and share this video. Subscribe. If you're not subscribed, hit that bell, that notification bell, so you will get notice whenever we have a new show that is being let go to the public. So let's see here. Still waiting. In the next 6 minutes or so, he should be coming. I didn't realize this was going to be recording. This is my first time, friends, so bear with me. But Corey should be joining us in the next 6 or 7 minutes or so. And we're going to be asking all kinds of questions. And got a lot right here to ask. And let me see here. Let me adjust this a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. So Corey Goode, yes. Now, Corey Goode, let me give you a little backstory. If you have never heard of Corey Goode, he was trained from a very young age. He was taken out of his class at school with some other classmates and brought to various different places, Air Force bases and different places to train. Because when he was 17, he didn't have a choice. He was just inducted into the Secret Space Program. It's the 20 and back program, where you serve 20 years in the Secret Space Program. While you're in, you're not allowed to have any pictures of anybody from Earth. You're not allowed to contact anyone on Earth. You belong to the Secret Space Program. In this case, Corey was part of Solar Warden. Solar Warden started in the 1980s, and they utilized spacecraft that were designed. Some of them, if not most of them, were designed by William Tompkins, who came forward to verify Corey's story. And he had all the documentation, and to prove that this was the case, yes, he designed miles-long spacecraft for the Navy that were deployed in the 1980s under the Solar Warden program. So that is something else. And so while you're in there, you can't contact Earth. You have no contact. At the end of your 20 years, and they completely control everything. about your life. At the end of your 20 years, you're asked, do you want to do another 20 years or do you want to go back? So if you choose to go back, then you are age regressed and time regressed back to the moment that you left, or a moment or two after that you left. And your mind is blank slated, allegedly, so that you cannot remember your tour of duty. Now, Corey Goode remembers his tour of duty. He was an intuitive empath. And as he states, there was a small percentage of the intuitive empaths where the blank slating didn't quite work. So he retained his memories of this incredible time, starting in, I think, the mid 80s and going for 20 years or so. And he was privy to lots of information. He discovered lots of things that are bombshell information that we here on Earth have been deprived of knowing, like that there even is a secret space program. So he was in this. He was in the thick of it, and he was on a research vessel for the first few years, and he also was in the intercept interrogation program, because he was an intuitive empath. He could read people's emotions and say, oh, this person or this alien being is hiding something, or this alien being is nervous, and he could tell and could alert the people around him so they could take appropriate action. But on the research vessel is a very interesting time, and I have a lot of questions for Mr. Goode about that. Now, I'm going to check my participants because he should be coming in shortly. And so they discovered lots of things that Corey Goode talked about, and he'll be joining us soon to, fill us in on all this as well. But some very, very, very interesting things. One thing is that the sun is not just a burning ball of hydrogen and oxygen and helium. It is actually an electromagnetic sun. And they discovered this by sending a probe inside one of the sunspots. It was shielded, the probe was shielded for heat. And it went inside and it saw the core. It was much cooler inside. It wasn't burning on the inside at all. And so he explains that it's an electroplasma universe, and that all planets, all stars, everything is connected by these electromagnetic filaments. And it's through these filaments that Corey says that they travel. They can somehow enter these filaments and travel from star system to star system, from galaxy to galaxy, using hypermathematics that was given to us by an alien race to wait for just the right time, because everything in space is constantly moving and they're all connected by these electronic filaments. And when everything's lined up, okay, we can go to Andromeda. We're going to Andromeda. Boom, you're there. But it's hypermathematics that were developed by aliens and given to us or lent to us. And so let's see. Yes, still waiting. That's okay. We're very grateful that he has taken the time to join us here. And all righty then. So behind me, there's a picture. The one right before was a picture of, whoops, I guess we missed it. A picture of Antarctica. It's actually a picture of Antarctica that has circled where all the bases are, the underground bases. Very important piece of information that Corey Goode gave out. And so you can see that in the background occasionally. It's on a loop. So I hope that we cover all the things that are curious to you about this case. I know I've had a lot of questions for a long time, And I've got a full roster of questions here that I'm going to ask Mr. Goode about the secret space program and his involvement in it. And let's see. Checking, I'm always checking to see if he's come in. And so we'll let you know as soon as he comes in, and he'll be joining us here. It's he should be coming at any moment. There's Skinny Bob. Okay, he is the alien that Bernard Mendez talks about. Claims that he's a really nice guy, and he's the only alien who can come and go as he pleases because he's such a nice guy. All the others are kind of like, okay, you got to tell us when you're coming and get permission. Now, he was in contact with these beings through the government, the secret government, back in the 60s and 70s. So I'm not sure if Skinny Bob is still, there he is again, Skinny Bob, through some incredible footage released by the KGB, by the Soviets. Incredible footage. And Bernie Mendez claims that, yes, this is actually a real alien. So I'm going to check here and see if I got an email. And it looks like I did get email. Oh, he needs another 15 to 20 minutes. He had an emergency pop up. Okay. Well, he had an emergency pop up, folks. So he sent this, let's see. 49. Well, he should be coming in about 10 minutes or so. So we'll keep on, I better answer him. And reply. And we're going to send that right to him. All right. Yeah, he's a very busy guy, and I'm really happy that he took the time to be on my show. And like I said, he'll be joining us maybe in 10 minutes or so. I don't know if there's any way to pause this. Maybe I can stop the video. I don't know if I can start it again. Let's see if I can stop the video and just, or we can just keep going. We can keep going. So, yeah, it's now the show that Corey Goode was on with David Wilcock is called Cosmic Disclosure, and those episodes are no longer available. I think there's some pirated ones, but we don't want to watch the pirated ones. But there's a lawsuit going on, and I think the lawsuit is probably the deep state's attempt to thwart this whole disclosure movement. And I got to say, the disclosure movement has been made much better by Mr. Corey Goode, because he was the first one in the truther or the UFO community, or the whatever you want to call it, truther community, to call for unity in the community. And I thought that was just a beautiful thing, because like he said, nobody has all the answers. We all have our own little piece of the puzzle. And if we work together, we can achieve what we're all trying to do, and that is to get to full disclosure. There's that map again. And you can see some of the circled spots where the underground bases are. And if you're looking for a way to help this program, there should be a link in the description box. I have a PayPal and a Cash App. and that would be very appreciated. Also, like and share. That's the best way to help us out. And subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and so you can be assured to see the very next episode. And so far, we've covered lots of different subjects on this show here, and mostly having to do with aliens and UFOs and extraterrestrials. And there's that 3-mile long spacecraft that's on the far side of the moon that they found and it's photographed during Apollo 16, and then of course Apollo 20. That's another thing I might ask Corey about if he knows anything about that. And so yes, 49. So yeah, judging by his email, he should be joining us in any minute now. So I'm keeping an eye on it and will certainly let you know. I just don't want to stop it because I'm afraid I might not be able to get it going again in time. I know his time is very precious, and so I want to utilize as much time as we can, and I don't want to spend the time redoing the show notes and all the things to get the Zoom thing going. So that's why I'm letting it kind of go, and we're just talking about various different aspects about the secret space program. Now, there's another gentleman that claims to be, there's a whole bunch of them now who claim to be from the secret space program. Now, the reason that they're able to do this is because when they return the people from their service to Earth with their mind blank slated, it supposedly doesn't affect Earth's history. And the extraterrestrials that gave us this technology, I think maybe some of the key ones are the inner Earth beings who may or may not be. There's that map again. Extraterrestrials. They've posed as gods in the past. And as Corey says, they sit in round egg-shaped chairs that kind of hover above the ground, vast amount of them. And they sit in these chairs and they watch us. They watch certain families and people that they're interested in, maybe they have lineage with. And they watch their lives, basically. And Corey has said it's kind of like their entertainment. And they're also giving little hints and nudges to help people. Like if a mathematician is working on something and he's real close, they can telepathically, give him, x equals 397. Boom. And then to help us along to progress. And he said that they come to the surface after natural cataclysms to kind of help kickstart society again. And it's curious, one of the groups that he talks about, they have, some of the people in one of these groups have blue skin. And as you know, in the Hindu religion in India, they have blue-skinned gods. So this correlates with what Corey's talking about. And maybe that group is aligned with the people of India, of that lineage. And they've come forward to help them rebuild their communities. And if you've ever seen these absolutely amazingly beautiful and gorgeous and detailed temples, Hindu temples, it's some of them, they say 900 years old, some of them they say thousands of years old. It's just absolutely remarkable that, the idea that they could build these just with simple copper tools, it just doesn't make any sense. So still keeping an eye on the participant room here on Zoom, and still waiting. Let me check my messages to see if I got another one. I'm a one-man show here, so I'm kind of wearing a lot of hats, as many of you do as well. So I know that okay. Nope, no new messages. No new messages. And that last message, let's just check the time on that. The time. 3:49. So he should be coming on any minute now. I'm sorry for the lag. I wanted to start a little early in case he was early. So that's why I started a little bit early. I may be able to edit this. I may not be able to. That's why I'm kind of continuing to talk so that it's not, you know, no blank spots, not as many anyway. So some of you might know, and some of you might not know, that I have another channel in addition to Truth Quest with Aaron Moriarty, where we delve into these issues of aliens, UFOs, secret space programming, all kinds of very interesting stuff. My other channel is called 3 AM Studios. And it's, if you know me, I'm a toy and game inventor. This is the Super Cube. It's a square super ball that I invented. Here's a game that I designed and invented, Tetragon 2. And so on the 3 AM Studios, we have children's entertainment. You know, I've illustrated some children's books, and I read those books. I also illustrated and written some children's books, and we have drawing tutorials for kids. We draw ponies and penguins, and we're going to be drawing all kinds of other stuff too, and paper craft ideas. So lots of fun stuff for kids, because, you know, I think there should be more kids entertainment and non-Hollywood, because that's not so good these days, right? That's right. So Corey Goode, he started giving his information out years ago anonymously, okay, on message boards. He was giving this information out. And he was outed by someone in the field here that I'm not going to mention, but he was doxxed basically. So he kind of had to come out. He didn't really want to. And he was visited in his dreams by these 7-foot-tall Blue Avians, part of the Sphere Being Alliance, and they wanted him to deliver a message to humanity. And that's one of the questions I'm going to ask him. I want him to deliver that message again for us, because I think it's very important. And they appear in your dreams first, and then they came to him physically. And even his dog was startled and to see this 7-foot-tall blue bird humanoid, Ra Tier Air, which he later learned was, yes, the infamous Ra from the Law of One materials, the channeled materials from Law of One. Ra. I am Ra. So yeah, very, very interesting. The Sphere Being Alliance, now they don't want us, and I'm sure Corey will probably reiterate this too, they don't want us to worship them or like try to like contact them. They want us to do inner work. And that's some of the beautiful things that Corey is working on in his workshops right now, is working on yourself to, you know, help along the ascension process. That's really, we are the saviors we've been looking for. We need to pull up our bootstraps and lift ourselves up out of this mire and realize we're all one, we're all connected, and that the universe is a place teeming with life that is indeed also all connected, that we're all part of. We're all part of the same universe. And it's kind of a beautiful thing. They are our galactic cousins, if you will. So we are connected. If you feel a connection, that's a natural thing. One thing I learned recently, when you're meditating and you're sitting in a relaxed position and you're trying to relax your whole body, the one part of the body that people oftentimes forget to relax is your mouth and your tongue. They'll sit with their mouth closed. And if you just hang your mouth open and relax your jaw and your mouth, you can reach those states of higher meditation much quicker. And that's how it works for me. And it really, because sometimes you can be clenching your mouth shut or feeling like you're ready to talk or something. But if you totally let that relax with the rest of your body, you can reach those states of higher consciousness in a shorter period of time. I believe it works for me. Give it a try and see if it works for you. There's a drawing I did of a gray alien. Of course, there's our president coming out of the Q+, and you can get that in a t-shirt on my shop if you look there. On Teespring, I got a couple different shops, Truth Quest and also Trump Rocks. So look for those as another way to support the channel. And the more support I get, the more chances I have to bring shows to you and special guests like the upcoming guest here, Corey Goode. And let me see if I can check back here again. No new messages. So like I said, it should be any minute now. So there's only 3 people in the queue right now. That's me, myself, and I. I'll let you know when he comes in, and we'll get that all squared away. And so we can all see everybody and get this show on the road. But yes. Now, the other secret space program whistleblower that I have watched and listened to is Randy Kramer. And now Randy Kramer never appeared on the Cosmic Disclosure with Corey Goode and Dave Wilcock. I think they did do one show together, but I don't think it was Cosmic Disclosure. But a lot of the things that they talk about correlate very nicely together. Randy Kramer was part of the Radiant Guardian, whereas Corey was part of the what's the other one? The other one. The one that William Tompkins designed ships for. I think he designed for all of them. Radiant Guardian was Randy Kramer's, and the other one was the one Corey Goode was from. So together the two kind of patrol the solar system. It's a big solar system. And according to Corey and others, we're not just in our solar system. We are all throughout our 12-star cluster, our 52-star cluster, and beyond. And we've got colonies, not only on Mars, and we not only have a base on the moon, the LOC, the Lunar Operations Command, but we also have bases, colonies and bases and manufacturing facilities on some of the moons of the gas giants, also in Lagrange areas of our solar system. That those are areas in the solar system that are kind of gravity neutral. They're far enough from all the planets and moons where they're not being tugged or pulled in any direction. They're kind of stationary, so they can stay there pretty much indefinitely and move along with the solar system as we speed through the Milky Way. So very interesting. So we have some planet-bound colonies like on Mars, and we have some on moons of Jupiter and Saturn, and maybe others. And we also have bases in other solar systems in our 12-star cluster and 52-star cluster. So it's an amazing, we've got millions of people, some of them genetically engineered. And I always wondered, why are the, the powers that be poisoning our food, our water, chemtrailing our air? Because we all live here. Why would they be poisoning the very place where they live? Well, in the secret space program, they have these colonies of people where they've told these colonists that, look, life no longer exists on Earth. Something happened on Earth, and you are the last remnants of humanity. And so they don't have they said, well, maybe we'll go back to Earth someday when we terraform it. So in the meantime, they're trying to kill us off. Now it makes sense because they have these genetically superior, supposedly, humans on these various different bases that they would like to bring back to Earth at some point, or some of them. In the meantime, they're trying to kill us all off because we're not the chosen ones. And that's why it's so important that these secret space program whistleblowers are listened to, because they're shining a light in the very dark corners of the secrets that they never wanted to come out. And that's probably why all of the episodes are in limbo right now, because they're trying to keep them from being seen. I do remember most of the episodes and a lot of the things that were talked about. Absolutely fascinating, just extremely fascinating. Now, Corey Goode has a comic book that's coming out. I believe he's working on a new movie as well, and we'll talk to him about that. But the comic book looks very interesting. They've been working on it for quite a while, and some of the artwork is really fantastic looking. I'm looking forward to that coming out. I want to get a copy or two, maybe give some to my normie friends and say, hey, I have a friend who's into sci-fi. It's like, well, if you're into sci-fi, here's something that might actually be real. Why don't you take a look at this? If you like sci-fi so much, you're going to love this. And there's a high possibility that it's real, actually, that it is real, I believe. But we're dropping the truth bombs on the normies, waking them up. And boy, I tell you, a lot of people have woken up in the last 4 years with this president we have. Trump has been bringing a lot of truth forward. A lot of people are seeing the media for what it is. Now we learn that all of the media is controlled by China. And a lot of things are controlled by China. A lot of our elected officials are controlled by China. They pay them off, and China wants to control everybody. And this is why the news is so fake. Think about the news in China. China has state-run news. The people don't get truth. They get what the government wants them to hear to keep them in line. Like what's happening with COVID. Like in California now, Governor Gavin Newsom, it's Christmas, only 3 families, you got to stay 6 feet apart, keep your masks on, sing with a mask on, under a normal talking voice level. It's all just fear-based controlling, trying to control people, that people are waking up. And that's why I invented the Invisimask. And actually, I'm wearing one right now. Yes, they're invisible, made from nanotechnology. And you can order one just simply by emailing me, aaron@hotgames-puzzles.com. And I'll teleport one right to your face, free of charge. Donations are accepted. And a lot of people have ordered them and they're wearing them. I'm wearing mine right now. Once it's on, you never have to take it off. It works with your immune system and promotes health. It allows you to breathe out all of the air that you need to breathe out and breathe in beautiful, fresh air with real oxygen. So you're not recycling all that same air and getting yourself sick. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to make everybody sick. They're trying to bring about the second wave by making everyone wear masks. But it's not working because people are waking up. People are saying, wow, I don't see people in the hospitals. I don't see, the death rate's way, way down. Cases are up, but that's because there's testing, and the test doesn't necessarily mean you have it, just means you might have already had it or a coronavirus, because the coronavirus is very common flu type virus. The PCR test will give you a positive if you have the antibodies from any of those coronaviruses that you've had over the years. So a lot of the positives are false positives. So let's get on with it. Let's open up everything. And let's, I'm hoping, Trump is bringing one of Hunter's former business partners to the debate tonight. That'll be interesting to check out later. It's already happened now by the time this comes out, so yes. Okay, still recording and checking again. Participants. Still just me, folks. It's still just me, but we're waiting. Check the email again. Oh, 2 participants now. Okay, let's get him in here. Admit. Corey, are you there? I see you. Let's see. Okay, do you have me muted? Oh my goodness. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2.
Get the dust up on.
Hello?
Get the dust up and essentially.
Hello. I can
Hello?
hear you all of a sudden.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Oh, good.
Weird.
I don't know what was wrong. I kept muting and unmuting. Well, welcome, Corey, to Truth Quest. Thank you so much.
No problem.
I'll have to edit that part out. Hopefully I can do that. I want you to remind everybody what the Sphere Being Alliance message to humanity is. I think that's a very important thing.
Yeah, well, the message is for us basically to get off of our knees, quit looking up in the sky for a savior to come and to be our own saviors by dealing with our own karma, our own traumas, allowing us to ascend in consciousness and be able to fulfill our mission.
Well, that's beautiful. And I just have to take this opportunity to thank you for calling for unity in the community. I think that was a brilliant thing to say. And I had high hopes that we were all going to come together and find the real truth, because that's the only way we're going to do it, is we do it together. But as soon as you did that, all of the shills, the people who are paid to keep disruption happening, showed themselves. And it was really, really telling. I mean, you could tell right away who these people were. And they outed themselves, really.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. But the minute I tried to work to get unity in the community, it was a number of things. There were some people, old guard, that were real jealous of the new people coming in and stealing attention. But there was a component of coordination. David Wilcock, Dr. Sala, and a few others I won't mention have all told me, we've been in this 20, 30 years and more. And we've never seen anything like this. And because there's never been anything like it. It progressed to a point to where, my family, has been afraid for their lives. And, my wife, every time the garage door goes up, she's wondering if one of these characters are going to be standing on the other side, and is she going to have to run them over or whatever, you know? This kind of stuff is going through my family's head. And, you know, I don't know, the way these people have justified what they're doing to us, trying to say that they're just critics, is ridiculous, because everyone in the community has seen the coordination and, you know, them getting on video saying we're going to destroy Corey. And anyone who's worked with me, you know, they've attacked people that worked with me to a point to where they started resenting me, you know, the people working with me. And then it kicked off a whole other crazy cycle. So yeah, I mean, when I was calling for unity in the community, I had no idea what I was setting myself up for. I was already a target, but trying to unify people in a community like this is very dangerous, because quite honestly, the disclosure movement was set up by the deep state. It was set up by deep state members as a way to control the dissemination of information to this very curious community. So I was infringing on that as well, and they came together and brought an iron hammer down on me. So, you know, it's, like I said, it's been a number of things. Also, quite honestly, it's had a lot to do, sadly, with money. You know, I'm doing this, like, you know, I need to support my family, but I'm doing this for the mission. And a lot of people come in saying the same thing, but, you know, they're really looking for notoriety. They're looking to make money off of me in different ways. And when they find out that they cannot control me or, you know, make money off of me in certain ways, then, you know, they turn on me. So yeah, I've had to learn some very, very heavy and hard lessons you know, through the process of all of this cyber stalking I've had to go through.
Well, I think that most of us out here watching you and listening to you, we realize that these people against you are paid to do that. And, you know, some of these people might not even realize that they might have a Patreon member that's saying, you know, you should do this, and they're getting paid by that person. So they might not even feel like they're, you know, they're just obeying their boss.
Yeah. Well, you know, when we get to a point, you know, I have lawsuits against a number of these people, an actual, you know, racketeering lawsuit. And a lot of people are thinking, you know, racketeering, this is crazy. I didn't talk to this other person that he's suing. Well, that's how racketeering outfits work. They have the top person insulated from getting in trouble because they never talk to the lower level people, but there's communication and coordination in between. We have mountains of evidence, both public and, you know, that we've gotten through some very, very good and expensive cyber investigators. So we've brought these people to court, and I'm gonna, you know, there's some serious damage has been done. So we've had to take these people to court, and you know, we're going on, you know, after racketeering civil suit now, and this is in the hands of law enforcement who are watching very closely, you know, the civil suits. So yeah, it really blossomed into quite the mess.
Wow. Well, I hope that all gets cleared up. I want to ask you, when you were small and you were brought down into an underground cavern with other youngsters to telepathically communicate with these giant crystals, the message that you subsequently gave to Ka'ari down in the inner earth, what did those crystals say to you? What was the communication like, and what did it feel like?
Well, I can't tell you what information I pulled from the crystals, because it was, first of all, my consciousness would not have been able to differentiate the information coming in. It was coming in so fast. It was blasting like a hose.
Wow.
So, I mean, I can't even remember bits and pieces, because they did do a blank slating on me when they extracted the information from me later. And they being the secret space program people, not RE.
Wow, that's really interesting. Now, I got another question for you. When you were in the inner earth and they were showing you how they were growing their food, and you said they didn't use dirt to grow their vegetables and fruits in, they used crushed rock and crystals. Now, what kind of crystals were they? What color crystals were they?
I was so far away, I couldn't actually see
Oh.
what type of crystals they were. I was just being told that that's what the substrate was, that it was
Okay.
various, um, some of it was fine, some of it was, more bulky, it was kind of layered, and that the plants grew into that. And the water and whatever was in the water rushing across was the nutrients. It's hydroponic.
Wow. Because I have some organic seeds and I'm waiting to find out what kind of crystals they get because I want to grow some of that food. Actually, that might be something that you could maybe even sell is, crystal gardening kits. If you can find out more about that, another way to make money from your knowledge. I got another question about when you were on the research vessel. You said that in one of the episodes that people discovered plasma life forms in the upper atmosphere of Jupiter. Now that's very interesting to me. And you said we have to learn to classify life differently now that that this kind of thing was discovered.
Yeah, they were very large plasma beings, very nondescript. I mean, they're like blobs. And they also, during different times, they will travel to different planets that have strong electromagnetic fields, and they've also been witnessed around the sun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
People have suggested to me in the programs is that these beings are beings that lived in the inner sun somehow, and that they migrated out.
Wow. Because inside the sun, you sent a probe in, it was, shielded from the heat in through all the sunspots. You found out it was kind of hollow inside with a core. It's cooler inside, and it's electromagnetic, plasma electric universe. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, it's constantly being fed from the cosmic web. The cosmic web is feeding into the center point of where the sun is, and it's kind of like a white hole. I mean, it's the opposite of a black hole. It's projecting energy out, and that energy is basically, it's like a replicator on Star Wars. You have an electrical field that creates complex things, and water comes from the sun. All of the elements that we're made of, gold, everything, it's being generated by the sun, and the core of the sun is basically an opening to the cosmic web where it's constantly fed.
Wow. Now behind me is a game I designed. It's called Tetragon 2, and I have a feeling that game was an old ancient game that just kind of came to me and wanted to be reinvented. And, thinking about your case, I think the Corey Goode Secret Space Program game would be a great game that you should come out with, and I'd be happy to help you out with it.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people mention that to me.
Okay.
We could very well end up doing that, but I've even had people approaching me wanting to do video games.
Okay. Yeah, I have contacts with Hasbro and some of the major companies that I show products to as an inventor. The other question I have, you said that there was under the ice, I think of Enceladus, one of the moons of either Jupiter or Saturn, there is a dolphin-like or whale-like creature. Could you describe that creature and if there are any other creatures under the ice?
Yeah, there were quite a lot of creatures under the ice, and I'm trying to remember, is it Lo, or I can't remember the moon that is, the name of the moon, for some reason, that is covered in ice and has an ocean beneath it.
Right, there's a couple of them. I think Enceladus is one of them.
One of them. But anyway, the one that we were discussing, it had a lot of marine life, and it's saltwater life. And there were not a lot of mammals, but they were creatures that resembled dolphins and whales, but there are not a whole lot of opportunities for them to bust up above the ice to get a breath of air. So apparently they have some other type of gland that they've developed that allows them to pull oxygen out of the water and also out of pockets of ice that's above the water level in the ocean. They can come up, and it's kind of like, I think betas or one of these, they have like a labyrinth gland that they can open their mouth and just absorb the oxygen through the gland. I think it's similar to that.
Okay.
But there were a lot of very strange looking creatures in that ocean that look a lot like the creatures in our deep ocean. It's really high pressure where it is. I'm told it has a lot of radiation as well. But light doesn't get through to this ocean. These are all fish and creatures that live in the dark.
Wow. That always, those two stories always were so fascinated me. Now, when I first saw you and heard your story, I thought, well, and you mentioned something about seeing a light source on a base, and you asked them, or maybe they telepathically told you, you get light from sound. And I did a little Google search, and there is a small company here that's been working for a couple of years making light from sound. So that was my, yep, he's telling the truth, because I found something. And if the secret space program has all of these, the brain drain, all the smartest people are siphoned off, they're going to be way farther ahead than we are. And so that's what made me think, okay, Corey's telling the truth. And to be honest, I watched the moon landing when I was like 8 years old. And I thought, this is great. We're on the moon when I'm 8. By the time I'm 30, I'll be able to vacation on the moon or in space.
Yeah,
And
that's actually one of my earliest memories, is laying on my dad's chest when I was like 2 years old, watching one of the moon landings.
yeah, it's just fascinating. And so it makes sense that we should be there. And you think from the flight at Kitty Hawk to the landing on the moon, 66 years, and then 51 years later, we should be there. And the secret space program, it has to be there. It totally has to be. Yeah. Also, the twisting of gravity is a very interesting thing to me. You talk about tiny little whirlpools coming down, the space cramping in on a planet. And also, we're going to be, I set this for 2 hours. So maybe at the end, maybe we could start another one if you're game for that, for another half hour or so.
Maybe, since we're starting late, my family was staying away during the time period we set, so we really kind of need to push through.
Okay. All right. So yeah, the twisting gravity, I think that is just because gravity is always a big mystery. The graviton particle doesn't exist. We know that. Gravity is a wave, right?
Right. It's just a twisting of space-time is all it is. As out in space, as large galaxies come close to each other in whatever orbits they have, the space in between them is compressing and stretching, and so is time. Time is happening very quickly in some areas, and then time takes forever in other areas. And an energy is produced from the friction of the expansion and contraction of space-time. So that's where some of these underlying energies come through that we can tap into as well. But one of the things that I described was, when we have a body like the Earth, and as space is being pulled towards the center, the gravitational center, space is elastic, but it also has a density. And when it all starts to pile up on itself, and when it does, it comes to like a termination point, and then that's when I said little pinches, little microscopic pinches of twisted space, time, are pulled all the way down to the center of the gravitational mass. And the tiny little spin, depending on the gravitational mass, the twist rate of the spin will be different. And the twisting of space-time is what not only holds us to the ground, but it creates our experience of time. Gravity is the engine of time. So not only, the law of one says gravity is almost a supernatural thing. It really is, because within each microscopic twist of space-time, which is creating gravity and time, within each twist is also other dimensions. Other dimensions are not out there somewhere. They're all around us in these tiny little, it's like rain, invisible rain, microscopic rain of these little twisting eddies coming down. And within them, you can access other dimensions or other times, because within these eddies, there's an electric type of thing occurring to where time in another dimension is flowing backwards, and there's other dimensions where time is flowing forwards, but at different rates. And if you can access those, you can have wonderful breakthroughs like quantum computing.
Mhm. I want you to tell my audience about your classes that you're giving, because I think that's very important, because the Blue Avians, now I got a picture here I drew of a Blue Avian. I don't know if that looks much like one or not.
It's nice, that's good.
You like those?
Yeah.
Now, did you ever see a creature like this? This is Skinny Bob. Did you ever see a guy like that?
Yes, we saw creatures very similar.
Awesome. Yeah, and did the reptilians look kind of like this or not?
No,
More like human, more humanish?
more humanish, yeah.
Okay, tell us about your class, because I think that's very important for people.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is my second one. The first class was called Accelerating Ascension. You can either go to acceleratingascension.com or go to ascensionworks.tv for all of these courses. But the first course, oh my gosh, it came right when the pandemic lockdown occurred, and we had thousands of people take this course. And we had such wonderful feedback about how much it helped them. And Accelerating Ascension, we're not talking about people, taking my course and then floating up to heaven. Ascension, how it was described to me was that it's nothing really super magical. It's just an expansion of our consciousness. It's expanding to a fourth density consciousness. We're not going to float in the sky and have all these powers. That's not how it was laid out for me. So when I'm talking about Accelerating Ascension, the course is all about dealing with your karma, your traumas. We talk about all sorts of techniques, interview different people that are professionals, and clear up the bandwidth of where all your traumas are. And when all that's cleared out, your mind, your consciousness can expand further. And we had amazing feedback from it. And then here, this next course is called The Blue Avians and the Law of One. And it's going to talk about all of the correlations between the Blue Avian message, the Blue Avian history that they gave me, and how it ties into the Law of One. David Wilcock has even called it the Law of One 2.0. And these beings did state that they've been here 3 different times to try to affect humanity in a positive way. And one of those times was to deliver that material here. And the Law of One material, they told me, was not meant to be quoted chapter and verse like a religion, which a lot of people do. It was here merely, it's like a multi-dimensional tool that triggers consciousness expansion by bringing in the Law of One, we are one, and a lot of other concepts that brings those who study it, their consciousness, to a next level, and then opens it up for what they're here to do. So yeah, we're very excited about that course. We've had, related to lawsuits and other things, we've had some emergencies that we may have to move the course back a little bit but we will let everyone know. But if we do, we're going to give people more of an opportunity to do the the 3 1-month installments to make it easier, because times are rough right now, for everyone.
Well, that's great. And I want to thank on air Carrie and Todd Van Swearingen that helped me to get in touch with you. I really hope that we can do this again, because I've got a lot more questions. I had a friend who's in lots of pain. She's wondering when the med beds are coming out.
I could use a med bed myself. I have a lot of orthopedic issues in my just in my 50 years here.
Were you trained with psionics, where you can kind of tell your body to heal itself with your vocal?
Yeah, there was some of that aspect to it. There was it was kind of like biofeedback technology that they used on us to help to determine where injuries were or blockages were. There was they would hook conductors to our body and ask us a series of questions and make us focus on parts of our body or move certain digits of our, that type of thing, so they could get the proper feedback. And then through the same means, they could affect the neurology. But a lot of they didn't just have one tool that like fixed everything in your body. Even like the med beds were meant for certain things, diagnosis and treatment of certain things. But if you had a neurological issue, an issue with your eye, they used different means for each.
Looks like we're on our final minute here. I want to thank you so much, Corey. I've been waiting so long to talk to you. I'm so glad that we got that little sound issue fixed, and hopefully next time I'd like to have you on again, and we can go over some of this stuff as well.
Yeah. I would be happy to come on your show again. I appreciate, the questions that you asked, and including the opportunity to talk a little bit about, the unity in the community thing and how that blew up. I do think that this community has been seriously gamed. People have come in at a time, end-time madness is happening, and everyone's having problems anyway. And then agitators come in and whisper in ears and send little texts and do all these little things. And the next thing you know, people are all frazzled and at each other's throats. But this community, there's a reason they're coming at this community to divide them. It's because most of us are starseeds. Mm-hmm. We have a very powerful mission. And if we come together, we're going to make mass changes and affect the mass consciousness in a major way. I've been called to, go into Hollywood, where, the den, lion's den, and try to sneak under the radar and produce material that we can get out to the masses that will, sort of like the law of one, start to work into people's consciousness and wake them up, or at least prepare them for when certain information does occur. They'll be like, oh, wait a minute, I saw that in this documentary, or this television series or whatever. So I think that everyone in the community, if we can't come together, then by God, please focus on trying to get this information out to the mass consciousness and affect it in a positive way. That's the most important thing that any of us can do. And I hope that everyone out there, no matter what craziness is going on right now, to not be discouraged, to write their songs, to put out their videos, to do, to create their art. Put your energy into that and find a way to get it out and affect the mass consciousness.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yes. And your comic too.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you for bringing that up. Next month, we're going to open pre-sales for it again. This graphic novel it's been totally rewritten. All of the art is redone, and the script writer, his name is Richard Hamilton. He has been a script writer and a comic book writer for a while. How to Train Your Dragons. David Kalbeitzer, he's a VP at Disney Imagineering. He's been helping me with this graphic novel and to prepare it to be animated. And we're about to start the script on the second graphic novel. which is going to be the actual 20 and back, bulk of the 20 and back information. And these 2 graphic novels we're going to have made into a movie or a television series eventually. Next year when Hollywood opens up again, all of this completely new material we've created, we're going to bring to Hollywood.
That's awesome. And when people tell me, oh, he's making this all up, I tell them, look, if he's making this up, why would he include embarrassing things like when Gonzalez told you to take your clothes off when that woman was coming in? I mean, why would you include that in a story you made up? It doesn't.
I guess it would depend. People make up stories, come in all different personality types, so it's kind of hard to niche that. But I am giving people, if they want to believe me, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine. The Blue Avians told me that it was just imperative that this gets out to the mass consciousness. So if someone watches this purely as fiction and they're entertained, that is perfectly okay with me. The critics out there, I don't mind critics. That means they're looking at it and they're thinking critically. And if they reject it, that's fine. But these are my memories. These are my memories. If I was crazy, schizophrenic or one of the other mental illnesses, then I would have, under all the pressure, I would have spun out years ago. But I've been consistent and bringing in more and more information, and no matter who has tried to destroy me, I have stuck my lower chin out and pushed through. And the Blue Avians told me they didn't pick me because I'm a good public speaker, because I'm not, or because I look good on camera, because that's debatable. But they picked me because I'm stubborn. A few people have told me that they think I'm fearless. No, I feel fear, but the importance of what I'm doing, if these were not my memories, I would not have pushed through. We've had a lot of LARPs come in here and there. Some of them appeared on my old TV show. And the minute things got hot, they were out of here. I would not have stuck through all of this BS if I was not motivated by more than just, greed or wanting attention.
I believe you, and I think most people in this community do believe you. You are an extremely honest seeming person, and the stuff that you've brought is incredible. I mean, even the gravity and the one quick question, when you're going into the cosmic web to travel, is it a tiny filament that gets bigger or does your spacecraft shrink down? How does that work?
Well, you actually become a energetic part of the stream. When you get a certain amount of speed above the speed of light, there's sort of like, a shock wave that occurs when you break the speed of sound. And in that shock wave, you go into a plasma type state. And when you're traveling through the cosmic web, you're not in a physical state.
Wow, that's fantastic. Corey, I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for coming forward and giving this incredible information. All the years you've done it, like you said, your story has always been the same, and maybe you don't feel brave, but you are brave in the eyes of us watching you and rooting for you. And we'll be out there ready to buy the graphic novel when it comes out, to go see the movie, and to encourage our normie friends, because planting the seed is what you do. And then eventually our collective consciousness, we can create the world that the Jetsons lifestyle that we were promised in cartoon form when we were younger. We'll finally have it, because we are in control.
Absolutely. We just have to take that control.
Yes. And thank you. You are the captain of the starship, helping us to do that. So thank you, Corey. You're fantastic. You're the best. And looking forward to the next show with great anticipation.
Thank you. I look forward to it too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.